Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to helping you say yes to the deck. Oh my gosh, we have another willing victim.
Another willing victim? Victim number 2? Oh, yes.
Melissa West, and you have a yoga channel here on YouTube, yeah?
I do.
And it's just Melissa West, right? Your name?
Yeah, it's YouTube/Dr. Melissa West. Yeah. Or you can just go to melissawest.com. So
awesome.
yeah.
And I will have all your links down below. I'm so excited you joined us for this.
I'm so excited too.
I get to help you buy things. Things.
I know I'm gonna have an excuse to buy a deck after this. These decks have been on my list for a long time.
Oh, that's true.
What's that, Peggy?
Or I'll talk you out of it.
That's true. You could talk me out of it. These ones have been on my list of I'm not really sure for a long time. So you may talk me out of it. Yeah.
Out of all of them, I don't think I'd be okay with that. I feel like we want somebody to buy at least one thing.
I think this isn't about you.
I'll think about it. Just give it a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you have a list of 4 decks?
I put 4 on my list for you. Yep.
Perfect.
Ooh, that's generous.
And not a cheater pants. I noticed there's no combos or bundles.
Oh.
A little shade to a previous person that showed us that I'm going to tease mercilessly.
Somebody that we know and love very, very well, who takes a joke very, very well. So
we hope.
I feel like they're all really different too. Did you feel like that too?
I do feel like that. It's going to be actually really interesting to talk through it. So do you want to tell us, and I guess everybody watching, what do you have on your list?
I started with the Gentle Tarot, which I don't know how well known this deck is. Maybe it is, but I feel like there's not really many things out there like this. It's pretty original. And it's, as far as a tarot deck, it's kind of its own system, and it's inspired by Indigenous art. I think it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
I just think it's a gorgeous deck. I love the artwork of it. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I know we're both from BC. There's a lot of Indigenous art in BC.
Yeah.
And the artwork on this has just had me drooling over it for a long time. So
that otter as the Seed of Cups is one of my favorite cards in the deck. I have this one, so I'm super biased.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah, I have this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this one's really, really pretty. I can totally see why that one's on your list.
Yeah. Now I have almost no tarot decks. I only have 2 tarot decks.
Oh my goodness, let us help you.
Oh, so you're...
I know. Well, I'm more of an oracle deck person. So I only have...
I thought 3 oracles on there.
I only have Crystal Unicorn Tarot.
Oh, I approve.
Okay.
And the Light Seers Tarot. Those are my only tarots. And because I guess I do a lot. I'm writing a book. I don't feel like immersing myself in a whole other system, which is why I haven't pulled the trigger on this one, because it's actually, in addition to being tarot, it's a whole other system.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I might be able to talk you down on that a little bit, because it is just following the tarot structure, and I think it follows it really, really well. The only thing that's a little bit different is the court system isn't page, knight, queen, king in that way. It sounds like you have a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
And the Gentle Tarot is such a nurturing deck.
Oh, okay.
With that slow, soothing energy to it. I don't know. That could be good.
It could be good. A lot of the other decks are kind of gentle that are on my list too.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. So that one's, yeah, but I like to read intuitively too. So that's kind of what's pulled me back from stepping into that one, is that, it's a system.
It's a system.
More
your
learning.
Timing is limited.
Yeah.
And
mind you, working with the guidebook with that deck makes it just a breeze to work with.
Okay, so see, I didn't really realize that.
Do you like working with the guidebook?
I'm an enabler here.
Well, she's only got 2 tarot decks. I feel like we could just add this to anything else she wants to get today.
No, that's not how this goes.
I know, but that deck is beautiful. It really is beautiful. There's nothing like it, I don't think.
No, I agree totally.
Yeah.
Okay. And it does feel very BC. It does
now,
have that.
I'm assuming that you have
BC.
no interest in collecting, and that you want to be able to use anything that you get.
I have a little bit of collecting going on, but So I do actually use them in my yoga teaching too. So I do kind of pick a card yoga classes too, but I haven't actually used tarot in a pick a card yoga class. I've only used oracle in that, but I feel like you might be able to use this deck in a yoga class.
And you're in
wait, I'm sorry. I just have to interrupt. I'm so sorry. Did you say you do pick a card yoga classes?
Yeah.
I'm
I do.
really excited about that.
Yeah. So you've got the 3 decks on the top, and then you pick a class, and then I have cards that correspond to yoga poses through the class with meanings. Yeah. It's totally amazing, right?
Makes you want to start teaching again, doesn't it?
Well, no, it makes me want to take one of her classes.
Yeah. Or we should collaborate. We could do like something together.
Ooh,
that would be super fun.
I would be all about it.
Are you aware that she's a yoga teacher?
Yeah, I know. That's why we had to like connect. I know we have to connect. And her book too. Like I know you've got to come on my channel so we can talk about your book too, because
that would be so fun.
I'm all about your self-worth path and everything too. We've got a lot in common. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm all in my feels now.
Here, don't worry. Lisa's going to send you all the decks. It'll be fine.
I get very in my feelings.
She's get her in her feels. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Okay, so
we've talked about one.
I have some thoughts about this deck, but we can go back to it.
Okay.
So what's the next deck on your list?
The next is the Love Story Oracle.
Now the other 3 on your list are all oracles, aren't they?
Are all oracles, because I really love oracles. I much prefer it to tarot because it's simpler. Okay, now the artwork on this I'm gaga over.
It's so pretty. Do you have anything else by Deja Druid yet?
I don't have any Deja Druid decks.
Oh, no.
I love me some minimal space, and I love a simple deck. I love anything with minimal space. I just like to, I just love a simple message and a simple, this is right up my street. But I don't actually have any like love decks per se. I don't have anything around this theme actually yet.
This one's legit still on my list. I'm just gonna say, like, I keep talking myself out of it. I think it's beautiful. I have decluttered it, kind of. The Personal Power Oracle, which is also beautiful. I just found myself not reaching for it a lot. It's very affirmation style. This is great because it is really good around relationships, and it seems to have like light and shadow in it. So you get like positive aspects of relationships, but also
everything has of the 4 cards there, they all have like a black and white. Yeah,
but it is very relationship focused, obviously. Is that something you're looking for?
Yeah, so that's also why I haven't pulled the trigger on it, because it's not something like I've been married for 25 years. Like I feel really solid, and I'm not
you're not dating anytime soon then.
No, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not calling in the one, like it's not kind of where my energy is at.
Yeah, and after 25 years, you're not questioning the relationship you're in. So
yeah, it's not really where my energy is. It's more love, universal love, unconditional love, that kind of thing really. Yeah, but I don't know if that's really what this deck is about.
Have you seen a full flip through of it yet?
I think I must have. I don't know.
You might want to watch a fresh one. And the other thing I'm thinking is that there are cards in here I feel like that deal specifically with active, ongoing romantic relationships. I wouldn't say you couldn't apply it to like more general stuff, but I do think it's kind of specific. And if you're not sure how you would apply that for yourself, do you see yourself using that for other people or like in your pick a card yoga classes or anything?
Yeah, I think maybe I need to probably do a full. Yeah, I think it would work. It probably would work well in a pick a card class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one way it could be used.
Yeah. I'm sort of on the fence about how well it would work more generally. I think I want it to be something that it's not, probably.
You've been married for 15 years. And I would say that as a teaching aid for use for the benefit of other people, it probably has value. But I'm not sure that I would see a deck themed around love as having a lot of intrinsic value for us, because regardless of the crap that I say, I am happily married.
Oh, good. Thanks for
You're welcome.
I feel better now about life. That's great.
I know what you mean. It feels a little young in that way, right?
A little bit. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. Now, it sounds like you do have the added thing though of using your decks as teaching aids, and that may have enough value as a teaching aid that you may decide you want it anyway
for that purpose.
But you're not necessarily wanting it for yourself, is what my guess would be.
But even I think my students are more like our age too, so they're also not in that kind of young seeking love, romantic love age too. You know what I mean?
A great space for like client tarot readings, or like a great space for like if you're reading for younger people or for people who are seeking in some way.
Yeah, it's got that seeking energy, doesn't it?
A little bit, but it does also have like navigating relationship like moments,
I would guess
like ups and downs.
I would guess right off the top that no matter how pretty the deck is, it sounds like it doesn't have a lot of functional use for you in your world.
Yeah, I think that's kind
of
like
aesthetically though. It's like
well, that's like if you find a beautiful piece of art, right? But when the beautiful piece of art is on a card that goes in a box and goes away somewhere, it changes.
Ooh.
I'll put beautiful art on the wall, but I won't put beautiful art in a drawer because I know I'll never. If I don't,
you won't look at it. That's why I end up rehoming decks, because it's like I appreciate and love them, but I don't get to look at it. It's just
it sounds like you'd be just collecting that one.
It sounds like you like it for the art,
for the image.
What I'm hearing.
Yeah, and then it would not get used. Like, okay, so what I did do is I pulled out one that I thought looked like it, which is the Sacred Creators.
Oh yes. And
I love the design of this deck, but I don't love using it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a new one for me, and I love it.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you loved it.
I think it's
because I've heard you talk about that, and everybody convinced you to buy it, and I'm like, she's not going to love it, and then you did. I was so surprised.
And I've been using it in client readings. It's been amazing.
She's all over the map. She will buy something thinking that she's going to fall in love with it, and she's going, "Why did I do this?"
It's so true, because it's so subjective. You don't really know until you have it and you work with it if it's going to work for you. And I think
that's true.
I think that's one of those decks that I feel like it works really well in combination with other decks, but I don't see myself ever using it standalone. So I think that's the other thing.
I think we've already eliminated one of your choices. I think it's a beautiful deck, but I don't think it has a lot of relevant. I don't think it's got a lot that's relevant to what you need based on what you've said.
Yeah, I think it's not going to stand alone, and I think that's
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not minimalist when I use my decks. I like shuffle them all, lay them all out, but still it kind of needs to sit on its own too.
Yeah, I don't think this one would.
One down.
Yes, we did it.
Mission accomplished. We're down to 3.
Even though I'm kind of sad because I love that artwork.
Yeah, the artwork is so pretty. You know what though? I heard a really great tip from somebody recently who said, if there is a deck that you're just fawning all over because you just love the artwork, go to their website or their Etsy shop and pick a print.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That could be
a really good idea, and I could hang it above my altar, right?
Yeah.
And you could pick what resonates.
Yeah, a card and a message that you really feel.
That might be an alternative.
I'm trying to
look at you guys. You're gonna get me to buy art and a deck.
Excellent. I love spending other people's money. It's the best. I was telling Peggy this just the other day.
I mean, and who knows?
And her money, especially.
Who knows? You may find that once you've had a better look at the artist site and you have a better look at more of the cards, that it's like, oh, this does resonate in this way, so that might change. But right now, right this minute, I would say that's probably
I think it's a miss, even though the art.
I think it's a miss.
We are cruising. We did good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one down.
One's down.
So what's your next oracle deck?
The Reclaim Oracle.
Oh my God, I'm not going to be any help here. Okay, hold on.
Okay, then we're just going to tie you up and throw you in the corner.
No, I will try to restrain myself, but this one is so good. Okay, hold on. Okay, there we go.
That one. Okay.
You've heard me gush about this one, yeah?
I have heard you gush about this one. I don't like that one nearly as much as you do.
Okay.
Is that it? That's not it?
No, that's not it. This is it. So, okay, why don't you tell us what you like, what draws you to this, so that I don't.
Okay, I think the only reason why I haven't ordered this deck is because I would have to practice delayed gratification because it's a pre-order.
Okay, that's a legitimate thing.
I have so many feelings about this deck, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about it. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. I think that's because of you that I learned about it. Yeah, it's an 88 card deck. That's a lot of cards.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards. Oh my gosh, the feelings that this deck. Especially when you talk about how you use your cards.
Okay, denial, discrimination.
This is
really all about, hey, here's some shit for you to deal with.
Well, it's shadow work, but it's also very validating.
It sounds like a a lot of self-love. And like when I went and looked at it again today, it's like, if you don't feel like you were fully mothered, if you want to be remothered, I'm like, oh yes, yes, love on me.
This deck, like, sort of, what I think this deck does really beautifully is that it allows you to sort of crack open yourself and like look at all the deep stuff, but in a really soft way. Like I have decks that I've pulled for shadow work that like kick my butt. This deck doesn't kick my butt. It just like exposes the raw, if that makes any sense. And I feel like, especially, this would open up so many possibilities, I think, for you as somebody who really enjoys Oracle decks, because there's nothing like this. I've never encountered another Oracle deck like this.
Well, as far as artwork, I don't know. Do you have this deck? The only thing that I see that's like kind of like it is the Prairie Majesty Oracle, and it's not even like it, but it's just because it's got all that black space on it.
Here, let me. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, what gift awaits?
So it's got. I love that it's got the keyword, and it's got sort of a journal prompt, and I love the back. The backs on it kind of remind me of it. So it's up my street in terms of the artwork.
Yeah,
but it's not even the same. There's nothing like it.
So you do journaling?
Yeah.
Oh, Reclaim is such a good journal deck too.
It would be an awesome journal deck. I can tell. Yeah.
I think too. I will say, Reclaim is so good, but there's so much depth in it that
it's right up your street in terms of the content, though.
Yeah. And if those themes, especially if you use your cards in that way, that's probably a good question. Is do you use your cards for like personal growth, development, that kind of work?
Okay,
so that kind of contemplative, reflective. Yeah.
Okay, so that one probably needs to stay on the list because I can't say it personally. I mean, it's not. But I can hate the art, and it's not me buying the deck. So
I love the art. I think it's like.
Yeah. I think if you love the art and the content,
I don't hate the art. It just doesn't.
It doesn't resonate with you. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it just doesn't suit my aesthetic, which is totally fine. But like the keywords alone, I can see that this would be a deep diving. This is a deep diving Oracle deck, especially if you practice journaling and use journal prompts.
And also, I think it would work really well in your pick a card yoga.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
So
okay, so this kind of ticks
even
off.
from postures. Like there's so many postural exciting opportunities in there.
And I feel like my reason for not getting it is a lame reason. Like the not.
I just don't want to wait.
The not wanting to wait. Yeah, that's a lame reason.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay. So we can
definitely
can logic our way around this too. It's fine.
We could potentially. Okay. So there's one more on your list, and tell us about that one.
Okay, Oracle of Mystical Moments. This one's been on my list for a long time too. This is my only sort of mass market deck that's on my list, and I don't really know why I haven't pulled the trigger on this one, to be honest with you, because it's probably fairly not that expensive. Oh, I do. I guess I do. I love the artwork, but sometimes I don't get along with a deck that isn't simple. And so I think sometimes what happens to me is that I'll look at an image like that and, well, that one's not really a great example, but go back to the one with the violin, like the lullaby one. And I'll pick up that card and I'll be like, well, I don't know. What does that mean to me? You know, it's not, you know what I mean?
I had that problem with this deck. I ended up rehoming this deck because of that, actually, because I felt like the artwork was really stunning, but the keywords felt more like they felt obscure to me. And I like my keywords to immediately tell me what the card's trying to tell me in a way. Like, what is the theme of that card? And I don't feel like this deck does that very well.
And I think I did that with, I know I did that with the Chicole Oracle.
Yeah, Nicoletta.
I love the artwork with it. And I used to sit and look at the deck for a long time, and I just never bonded with it.
But if you love this artwork, the Tarot of Mystical Moments is done spectacularly well. If you end up wanting to add to your tarot collection down the road,
this is not what
I'm just saying. Like, if you like this artwork, that could be a good like backup plan. If you're like, I don't know if I want to spring for this one because the artwork feels and the keywords don't maybe always match up the way that you want them to. Then I do think the tarot art lines up beautifully with the tarot meanings in a really cool way. So I think that it's done very well in the tarot, but it did not work for me with the oracle. So that's something to think about if you like the art, but you're not sure this would have function for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I haven't pulled the trigger on this, because I know I'm like, God, it's the art. Like I love art. The art gets me, and then I'm like, but is it something that I'm going to bond with, or it's going to confuse me? Like, you know, the soul cards, again, that's another deck that I haven't pulled the trigger on. Sorry, I'm bringing in a whole other thing.
No, that's totally fine.
I love the soul cards.
But soul cards, I think, because there's no keywords on them, I might be okay with it, because I could do my own, whole own thing, and it wouldn't matter what I thought it was. And any given day, the artwork could mean anything. You know what I mean?
And I think like with this deck, now here's something else to consider. If you really, really, truly love this artwork, and
you could cut the thing off.
What's that?
Cut the keyword off.
Yeah, exactly. You could totally trim it. I've known people who have done that. I think maybe Dawn Michelle did it. I think.
Have you ever trimmed decks? Is that something you do?
No, I haven't modified decks, but you know, I think probably once you start, you could really go to town on that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, to the point where you almost have to like stop yourself so you don't like get a little too ham. I'm just saying. I have had some deck mod fails for sure, but this is one that if you really love the artwork and you wanted to use it Oracle style, you could just trim the keywords off. But by the same token, I suppose the tarot deck has 78 cards. Well, actually, it's got like 82 or more, 83, 4 cards, something like that.
But
so
by that,
extras.
Okay, but by that,
you could just cut those off, and then you have even more artwork.
Well, by that token, you could go back to, and I'm sorry, what was the previous deck again?
That one. This is the one we were just looking at.
The Reclaim?
Yeah, so you could just take the keywords off of that. And
that's what we were just saying.
Yeah.
Peggy's just now catching up.
No. I'm just now catching up, because when you name the deck, I'm like, oh wait.
That's what we were saying is the one we were just looking at, the Oracle of Mystical Moments. I could cut the titles off and just work with the artwork. But do you feel like you get a meaning from the artwork without the keywords? Yeah,
I guess that's the thing. Like, because they're that collage style where there's so much going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love a deck with a lot of the empty space and simple. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because I feel like there's so much. I feel like, you know, I'm like you. Well, I'm not like you. I don't have a job. Like, I don't know how you do it. You have a full-time job. You run a YouTube channel. It's like, oh my God. But, you know, I run a business. I've got like a couple of YouTube channels. I'm writing a book. Like I need a lot of minimal space in my cards and just simple image. You know what I'm saying?
So when you say that, I'm like, every time you say that, I'm thinking both Reclaim and Gentle have that sort of nurturing kind of I want to be careful with the word hug, because I think we get a certain idea when we think of a hug deck that's going to just kind of coddle you. And I don't think either of those decks do that, but they both have that sort of soothing, calming sort of feel to them. Whereas I feel like Oracle of Mystical Moments, you will have to work for a bit. I feel like when you put it on the table, it'll take more mental bandwidth to sort of play.
Yeah, I don't want a lot of mental bandwidth. Exactly. Yeah.
So, if you want it to be, because you mentioned at the beginning that you kind of want it to be a little bit easy. And that one's not going to be easy.
I would agree. No. I didn't find it easy.
No, you're going to be contemplating a single card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't have to do a PhD in an Oracle card. I just want to get into it a bit, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's a pretty deck, but I don't know that. Yeah, it doesn't suit your personal bandwidth.
But the tarot is so good. Like,
okay.
Like maybe just file that away in the back of your mind.
I will, on the back of my mind.
So good.
So are we already down to 2 decks?
I think we might be.
Are we already down to 2 decks?
Oh, for sure. For sure we are.
So now we have to choose between I say we like it's my decision.
Obviously you're under no obligation.
Oh, wait, actually we should ask you, do you want to narrow this down to just one? I mean, your money. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, so it's between the Gentle Tarot and the Reclaim Oracle now, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, so it's a question of, like, I know for me, the Reclaim Oracle is a better fit for me. So it's really just a matter of practicing that delayed gratification.
Okay, so the other considerations is,
wait, I guess we didn't really talk budget, or if that's, was that
that's where I'm going.
Okay, I'll let you go there.
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean,
the Gentle Tarot, it ends up, because I'm Canadian too, so by the time you order it, it ends up being about $100, right, with shipping and everything.
The pre-order, this one here.
Yeah, but I feel like this deck, like 44, that's 44 US. So it'd probably, like, for me, by the time you add shipping, it'd probably be around $75.
Yeah. So, if budget is a concern, then you're
a bit ahead on this one. It's
no, this is a pre-order. When's it coming out?
June. We'll be back in stock in June. So how much waiting are we talking about here? Actually,
I don't know. That's the other thing. Like, that's the other thing with these kinds of things. Does that ever bother you? Like, update your websites, people.
Well, sometimes it gets frustrating. And
I think they're actually due this month. I think that's the thing. Because if I remember correctly from this creator, she had run out of stock unexpectedly. She thought her stock was going to last longer, so she immediately placed a reorder. So as far as I know, this reorder has already happened. So she's bringing them back in. So I don't think
it is an indie deck.
Yeah, it's an indie. They're both Gentle Tarot and this one
are both indie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think
the odds of them disappearing and just not being available all of a sudden.
It's always a chance.
Always a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's always a chance.
Oh, geez. Thanks, Peggy. You're supposed to be the ones helping us not buy them.
But I am. Because, so basically you've narrowed it down to 2 relatively pricey decks, but unfortunately both of those decks, because one of the other ones was a mass market deck where you can just go get it anytime. Yeah. You can change your mind and pick it up on a whim.
This is a plot twist. Are we noting this plot twist that Peggy is actually saying, you guys, these decks could go out of print. Maybe you should pounce.
Peggy was surprised too. Okay.
Peggy's talking about herself in the third person.
Yeah. The unfortunate problem. The thing is, now one of my philosophies is if you buy something just to save money, you're not saving money if you end up not liking it.
True.
Because then you're just going to go and you're going to spend the money on the other deck anyway, and now you're out even more money because you've tried to be cheap first, and I always try to be cheap first. And it's like, if I look at the cheaper option, I go, but I'm already pretty sure I'm not going to like it as much. Then I will sometimes opting for the more, and it sounds backwards, but it's not. But sometimes opting can be the better choice because, and Lisa and I have most definitely done that where he's like, oh, this is a really good deal. I'm going to get this. And I was like, wow,
it's not.
Because I don't like it. Yeah, that's the thing. I think I would say.
And then we spend way more money in the long run.
It's so true. I mean, I think it feels to me like the way you've expressed it, the Gentle Tarot is the slightly bigger risk because you're not as sure if you want to put the time into it or if it's going to be.
And you're not as into tarot.
And it's more expensive to boot.
So, I feel like I would really use both those decks, the Gentle Tarot and the Reclaim Oracle. So maybe it's a question of budgeting myself to purchase both of them.
I mean, that's what I would say.
Yeah. So,
so one of the things that I've been doing is tying my deck purchases to like reward myself. Like when I finish a chapter, I buy myself a deck.
That's a great way to motivate you to stay on your writing goals.
Then your best budgetary decision is to buy the deck that you can get now first and the pre-order second.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
But you may be
because you'll get the reward from if you're going to buy them both anyway.
But this is assuming that the money is already there now because you probably have to make both purchases.
Yeah, but that's a good point because if it's a reward for work you've already completed or you're about to complete, then you'll get a much more satisfying reward by ordering it and getting it and being able to play with it in relatively short order.
Okay, by the time you finish your next, we've just gone from helping you save money.
By the time you
I think Melissa would like not to buy. I can't even talk. I don't think she wants to buy everything all at once.
It's okay though. But then by the time you finish your next chapter, Reclaim should be back in stock, and then you can buy and get it in and use it right away. So you get that you're more instant gratification feeling if you switch the order.
Yeah.
If you're relatively sure you're going to get them both. Which I think is a great idea.
If waiting for it is, but you said you've had these on your list for a long time. So.
I've had these on my list for a long time, and I feel like I could delay gratification, push myself into order the deck, know that it's coming, hurry up and finish the chapter. Do you know what I'm saying?
You want the Reclaim first, I can tell.
Yeah, you know what
you do. You want the Reclaim first.
Okay,
because you're trying to work it. You're like, I think that's the one you want. I can tell.
You know what?
But I love that other deck too, and I'm a little afraid
it'll go away.
But she has reprinted it. It's her second.
It's new enough that it's not going anywhere. Peggy just scared you. She's mean.
She did scare me a little.
Whoa. Honestly, it's like, everybody has to look at their own personal budget. So if you're budgeted for both decks. That if you're budgeted for both decks and you've got projects ongoing that you want to reward yourself for, it might be the best idea right now. Personally, I would do the pre-order because it's less expensive.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of decks, so
and then you can finish your chapter.
I can finish a sentence.
Sorry.
I would guess that if you have too much coming in at the same time, you might end up being a little bit overwhelmed and not want to bother with either right away.
That's true.
That is so true.
You've already been waiting while you make up your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably go for the reclaim first.
Yeah.
By the time it shows up, hopefully it's just in time to reward yourself for finishing that chapter or two of your book. And then by then you can double check what's going on in the background. Like, I mean, I'm not going to, it's always weird talking about money with other people. So I'm not going to try and make it too weird, but if there's something that you would like to confirm budget wise before you make that decision, you'll have lots of time, no rush, no hurry.
That's true.
And then you get the next deck. If you think there's a chance that the deck could go to stock, it costs you nothing to contact the deck creator and ask.
That's true.
It's true.
Just to say, hey, I'm thinking about buying this deck, but for various reasons, I'm not getting it right away. Is this staying in stock for a while?
Yeah.
If they say, look, once they're gone, then you may have to, click off of this video and do the exact opposite, but you have time and I'm talking with my hands and I don't know why.
It's fine.
No, I love it. It's a great idea to say, hey, how long do you think this deck is going to be in stock? Yeah. Because it's kind of this weird thing with the indie decks, isn't it?
Well, it's partly because, especially on Kickstarter decks, because sometimes the Kickstarter goes through, they're able to do one big bulk order. And then depending on how many orders they get in the meantime, they may not feel confident or have the funds to do like another big order. So maybe smaller orders after that. So sometimes that's a factor, but with newer indie decks, my experience has been that they don't go away that fast. So if it's a relatively new indie deck like Gentle Tarot, I don't. It's good to check to make sure, but I think it's probably
it never
not.
Hurts. It never hurts, and most deck creators will take the time to respond to the questions.
Oh yeah, Mari's great. She would definitely.
So you would have no problem that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would consider the Oracle deck first. You've already proven to yourself that waiting for something is not a problem, even though once you make, now that you've made the decision, I decided today and I want it tomorrow.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, I see that look on your face too. It's like,
it's so weird, right?
Yeah.
Human psychology is so weird, right?
Yeah.
I'll leave it on my wish list for like a year, but now I want it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. But you don't, I mean, okay, this is going to sound really backwards, but if you already had a collection of like 100 decks or something like that, I'd be like, well, if you end up getting both at once, that's fine, because you're obviously used to juggling with it to
I want you to remember this conversation later.
I'm not talking about it.
It's a valid point. And I'm going to make sure to remind you later when you're like, no, you'll need one, honey. It's like, but wait, you said I could get multiple. You said that. It's on camera.
We are supposed to argue later.
Oh, but that's what we do.
Yeah, okay. It's what we do. You've watched our videos. You know how this goes. Yeah, I would say that you've already taken the time to take your time. So I would get the one that you have to wait for.
Yeah.
And then you can take your time over the next one.
Also, you light up differently talking about reclaim.
Reclaim.
No.
You do light right up about it.
Is it possible that you're in a position right now? This is going to sound, it's not an insult. Are you in a position? No. I don't know. I never know how my wording is going to come out. So I warn people. I should come with a disclaimer. Anyway,
you do, baby.
Do you feel that because most of the community focuses on tarot that you should get a tarot deck?
That's a good question.
Versus more
I do feel like tarot is held above Oracle.
Interesting.
Yeah, screw that crap.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. And especially when you're looking at stuff like this, like Reclaim has so much depth. I don't in any way think there's that kind of hierarchy.
There's plenty of people who only use Oracle
I was just going to say the same thing. Yeah.
Tarot decks require more study, which is why you hear more about them.
Of course you can study something and it becomes really cerebral, but I think the really cool thing about Oracle is that, I mean, as a yoga teacher, I guess I really like to be in my body, but it can be very much more intuitive. Yeah. That's what you just said, right, Peggy?
Yeah. But because Oracle is intuitive and very personal, there's no instruction book for that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas tarot isn't. So there's already a built-in, by default, you're going to see
body
more
of knowledge, and
you're going to see more educational
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So
it's a different system.
You know what? I don't care.
Whereas Oracle, like there's no right or wrong or better best. Or
Yeah.
I really should have put soul cards on because like
Soul
that's
cards is so good.
Soul cards are, yeah, they're very.
I'll have to come back on and throw soul cards on. Then we can have a discussion
well,
about
you know
it.
what?
That's a good one.
I mean, like just because you're here doesn't mean you're not obligated to choose anything that we're suggesting,
That's
right?
true.
I mean, you could buy soul cards too.
You could come
add it to your
That
next
is
chapter
not-
goal. I mean, I think it's a valid decision.
It is. It's actually a valid decision, but I would say go with the Oracle deck. It's
Reclaim
saw
specifically, right?
reclaims. Yeah, I saw the look on your face when you were talking about the deck.
Yeah.
That one is resonating. I feel like that one resonated with you more than anything else.
Yeah.
It is actually less expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And you get so many cards, like on a per card basis. It's
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge
There you go.
deck.
I just have half the deck. I'm trying to save money.
Yeah. No, you need the whole thing.
Anyway, I would go with the reclaim for now. You do have to wait for it, but just because you've made the decision doesn't mean you have to now rush.
That's true.
And now you have X amount of time to think about the tarot deck and decide whether that's something you really want.
Mm-hmm.
Decide whether, and like I said, whether or not you could go, well, I really feel like I have to have more tarot decks because, and there's nothing wrong with making that decision either. It's like there's no rules about how you have to build your collection or not collection.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that if you get both decks too close together, and like I said, it sounds, because you don't necessarily have a large collection, it's like if Lisa were to go get a bundle of 30 decks, she's going to be overwhelmed.
This is true.
Yeah, it's
And you
yeah.
don't have a lot of time.
And I think that Reclaim Oracle is going to be like require a significant amount of attention. It looks like a meaty deck, you know.
It looks like, well, just the journal, just the journaling opportunities alone. And you mentioned from the beginning that you don't have a lot of time. If you don't have you don't have a large collection and you don't have a lot of time, so 2 decks, boom, boom, could very easily become feeling overwhelming.
Yeah,
she's making really good points. I would also say,
and again,
when
the
you
reclaims a cheaper deck, so you're also saving a little bit money and not,
and also when the time comes to get Gentle Tarot, because eventually
Lisa has decided to ignore her.
It's fine. But when the time comes,
Just
I would
ignore
just say, if the only thing you do is pull cards and read the guidebook entry, it's gold.
Sometimes
Cool.
That's a great way to work with a deck like that, because that's how I work with it.
Some decks are good like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep it on the list. Just
I will. No, it's not going anywhere.
Well, yeah, I would. Well, we're not telling you what goes off and on your list. We're just suggesting what goes good for the right now.
Goes in the shopping cart.
Yeah, there you go. Once it's in the cart, it's all over for me. I don't know about you. I added something to the cart from one of these segments already.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see how I do. You haven't managed to tempt me this episode, thank goodness, because I have 2 of the ones that were up top of your list.
Okay. Whoa. Because if you didn't have those decks, you would have been tempted.
Accurate.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So how do you feel
guys.
about where you've landed here?
I feel really good because I think I really wanted you guys to push me over and be like, oh, for God's sakes, just because it's going to take a while to get here, you shouldn't let that stop you from buying it.
Yeah,
honestly, what you've said about, like I said, based on what you've said, it sounds like it's the best choice to wait for a while for it to come in anyway.
Yeah.
And then
right?
And then if it comes in and you're not done with your chapter, you can just sit it in its plastic wrap, like next to you, taunting you until you finish. You're right. Reach that right.
You have writer's block, do you?
I'll send you a photo if that happens.
Oh yes, I would love that. Yeah, you keep us posted and let us know if you do also eventually end up getting the Gentle Tarot.
Yeah, and even if you don't get this deck,
that's true.
I hope we've helped you.
Hopefully you're hitting buy the second we're off here. that's my wish.
Yeah. Oh God, totally. That'd be great.
What was that, Melissa?
That's great. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
This was so fun. I so love that you're doing this with your viewers. It's just such a great idea.
Oh,
you guys are the best.
Fun, right? And I get to actually.
It's so great that you came on and decided to play with us today.
Yes.
It's so fun. I think it's such a great way of getting your audience involved. And I just think you two are great. I love your authenticity. I just love how you two are just both so you, and you share your lives so openly. And it's wonderful. I really appreciate that. And I've got to say, you guys have carried me through a lot of the the pandemic year, it's just been great. Like it's helped me, and you know that this past year has been very isolating, and so it's really nice to connect. Yeah, it's really nice to connect.
That's so great to hear. It was so fun having you on. Thank you again so much.
Bruno was apparently okay with, because he gets way more cuddles than he ever did.
Yeah, he loves it when we're on camera together, and that he knows he can get our undivided attention for a minute or two.
He climbs into the middle and he knows we have to pet him.
Yep. He's like, oh, your camera's on? Okay, clearly this is what's going to happen. So we will have, thank you again so much, and we will have links to everything down below. I'm really excited you're getting reclaimed. Like the moment that was on your list, I'm like, I'm gonna have such a hard time not being super biased.
You're gonna have to you're gonna have to let us know if you use it for your class. You're gonna let us know how that works.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great class, a great deck for a class for sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you again so much. I have such a hard time saying goodbye because I always have so much fun, but
it was really fun. But I won't take up more of your time, and of course, I could talk to you guys all day too. But thanks for letting me be part of this. It was really great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming. This was awesome. This was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
On the deck.
I will. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, we have Wesley here with us. Another reeling victim.
Hi, Wesley.
Hi.
Thanks for volunteering.
Thanks for volunteering.
You will behave. You will behave. I keep saying she's promised to behave, but she's not really promised.
Did I promise to behave? No, not once. Not once.
So
I do not make promises that I cannot keep.
So Wesley, you do have a YouTube channel here called 22 Zines. Did I get the name right?
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
And the link will be down below.
Link will be down below. And so check it out.
Check it out. Sign up.
And you mentioned you've done your first tarot tag, so that's coming to your channel soon.
Really excited. I'm doing tarot stuff. I was on the fence about actually creating the channel for a while because I wanted to do zines and tarot stuff, and for whatever reason I got in my head that I needed to do them separately or something, but that's ridiculous because 90% of my zines are about tarot anyway, so it totally doesn't even matter.
About tarot?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do what you want. It's your sandbox.
Look at it. Your channel's your sandbox. You get to play in it any way you want to. That's
right.
Rule.
If they don't like it, there's a door.
So you're going to let us help you make tarot decisions.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a short list of decks, right? Peggy's so excited. I'm just excited to help you spend your money instead of my money. That's really I get to shop
No. Don't let her do that.
Okay, so talk us through your short list. So tell us about the first deck on your list.
Okay, so the first one, and it's sort of, maybe I'm talking to either the right person or the wrong person about it, and that's the Mystic Masters Tarot.
I'm not going to talk you out of this one.
I mean, that's my problem.
You have to buy that deck or we're going to lose a friend.
Not true, but also...
That's not true.
This deck is fabulous. But anyways, tell us what you like about it.
I love the historical art and the incorporation of it. And I'm going to sound like kind of a hipster or something, but just the combination of the very sort of classically beautiful, technically brilliant master art, and then a more raw expression, I guess, of the splattered paint and the textured in a lot of different mediums, and it's just really cool. I really like it, and
it's the aesthetic that you're into.
It's very, very, it's very my aesthetic, and I don't actually have anything I think that
is similar. Really I was going to ask you. I was like, is there anything you have that already kind of does that for you?
I mean, what even is there that's similar to this? Though? That's the problem. That's the question.
True. It is unique. It is very unique in the space. I've seen historic decks, and then I've seen artsy decks or modern decks. I don't know how else to say it, or painty decks, I guess. But I haven't seen anybody merge those worlds until Danny did it. So yeah, this is a pretty spectacular deck.
Yeah, and it's pretty unique.
Yeah. How do you see yourself using it in your practice?
Yeah, I guess that's where I get a little hung up on, I guess, is because I can't, it's one of those things that I really enjoy looking at, but I'm just not entirely sure how I would go about reading it. Okay. If it's one of those things where I'd have it for the artwork and I'd just kind of stare at it and be like, oh, this is so pretty, and it's great. And then not actually do anything with it because
you're not really a collector, so this may be already off the list.
I think I was going to ask you if you do sometimes having decks just to have them. Is that an okay thing for you to do, or do you prefer to only have decks if you're going to use them?
It doesn't bother me in in concept to have decks. I don't have a very big collection, at least compared to some other people. I have like 20.
For
I
some
think.
other people, he means me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to say that in like a nice way, not pointing fingers, but you know,
yeah,
it's fine.
You should.
It's
It
fine.
makes me feel better.
It's true. Yeah.
So like, I don't necessarily mind it in theory. Like, I have some that are more for looking at than others, but I also just don't. I guess I just have a hard time justifying spending money on it if I'm not going to use it, you know?
That's completely fair.
So this one, sorry, Danny.
No, wait, are you trying to push him to take it off the list already?
Possibly.
Well, wait, slow your roll.
Slow down. You slow your roll. So this one may not be as strong a contender as you think it is.
That's a good way to put it. We'll accept that.
Yeah.
But because it's the first deck, and because it's Danny's deck,
and we shouldn't be hasty.
so we can kind of put this one out. This one's kind of.
It sounds like it's in the maybe.
We'll table it, I guess. That's. Yeah. I mean, so that's my problem. Is like I do this for every single deck. It's like maybe, and then I have a long wish list forever.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
That sometimes happens. I mean, it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible that you might go, look, these are the decks that are going to stay on the whenever, like, you know, oh, well, maybe with next year's income tax return.
Or like when I want to treat myself to something like extra.
Lisa has decks that are on this little bit of a mini list that she kind of wants, but she doesn't want to spend the money on it.
I've got actually quite a long list
she won't,
there.
But she's not going to spend the money on those decks until something happens where it makes sense. Like it's an income tax return, refund or whatever. You go, I've got this extra money that came in, so I'm going to go ahead and buy one of those maybe decks. And that could be what ends up happening. But let's see how the rest of this goes.
Okay, what's the next deck on your list?
That would be a major win for me because the last person that we talked to, I got her to buy a more expensive deck.
She's having a little identity crisis.
I feel really bad.
It just all has to be washed out. You know, it'll wash out in the end.
Sorry, Wesley, you can't buy anything. I have a quota to maintain.
Okay. No, we're
okay.
Buying is great.
Okay, so this one here has got a lot going for it, but except for the art.
But there is an issue about you're not sure about the usability of it just yet.
For how you read.
Like I think it's really usable. I mean, just say.
But everybody reads
differently.
Everybody.
I'm very biased.
I love Danny to pieces, but I am not experienced enough to make sense of that deck because I'm a forever noob, and that's not probably going to change for me.
That's fair.
So
yeah.
All right. Well,
I do like the astrology signs on it though. That's that's the thing. As soon as I noticed those, I was like, oh, look at that.
That was a big part of your practice.
Yeah, I started doing astrology before I did tarot, and so I really like that. But
what is your next deck?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one that I've been thinking a lot about is the Tarot of the Cat People. These are all going to look so totally different from each other. Also, there's no continuity.
Sometimes that's exactly why it's hard to pick one.
Okay, so Tarot of the Cat People. Oh, well, it's currently out of stock. Decision made. No, I'm just kidding. That's out of stock at US Games, but obviously.
Yeah, but it's like everywhere. It's
on Amazon,
you can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it is out of stock.
I don't know anything about this deck, so you'll have to tell me what you think about it. And yeah.
Okay, so as you can see, it is a really unique deck. I'm trying to say weird, but in a good way.
I see what you mean.
It is. I guess it feels sort of like a fantasy species, and apparently that's sort of what this whole thing is based around. Is there's a guidebook that has descriptions of this species and this culture of fictional people as though it's like a fantasy book would, and so it has stuff about like the geography and the culture and the politics and everything of this magical.
Oh, it's almost like Cheshire Cat style backings. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, some of those characters look almost familiar from various mythologies.
Yeah, and I can get the mythology influence, and some of them have like this weird sci-fi influence, or maybe it's just like the sort of 60s pattern thing is like sci-fi-ish.
I see what you mean about it being like weird in a good way though, because this is not what I expected when you said Tarot of the Cat People. And I just have never really seen this deck, but like it's very I feel the sci-fi thing probably most of all. It feels like it's It does feel like it's something that could have come out of a specific like novel series or something.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of like about it, because I love Discworld, and I love Star Trek, and I love a lot of sort of
I'm a sci-fi freak.
Fiction, like fictional world building. Yeah. Dune.
And this
I love
has that
Dune.
feel. Do you have anything else in your collection that kind of gives you that sci-fi world building kind of feel right now?
I don't think so. I guess maybe the closest is kind of, I have the Murder of Crows tarot, which is this one.
Yeah.
It's Low Scarabeo. And it's really neat, and it has sort of some sci-fi-ish, but it feels a lot more gothic than sci-fi.
I would say those feel like it'd be like reading a book from this genre and then a book from that genre. It feels like it.
Yeah.
I see what you mean, but it seems like a different genre. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
that's why I speak fluently. So it's okay. I do.
Good
it's
thing.
Fine. Yeah, somebody has to.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is a really cool looking deck.
And it's mass market.
And
it's nice and cheap and easy to find.
But it's currently out of stock.
No, only on US.
No. It's a legitimate question. If you can only buy a used copy, like, because I don't know what the availability is outside of this.
Yeah, what is the availability like?
If availability is an issue, are you okay with a used copy?
I would be okay with the used copy, but I also, as far as I've seen, availability has not been an issue on this. I think it is just on US Games right now, and it's still in print, and so they're even if it was out of stock for like a couple weeks, it would be.
Oh, it'll come back. Okay, then you're good. Then you're good there. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's still on Amazon.
Okay.
Right now, anyway.
So it's got a good price. It's got a good. It's got good availability, and it's got a good feel to it. Sounds like it matches what you're interested in and the way that you're interested in it.
And it's affordable.
Yeah. And does it feel like a readable deck to you?
I think it does. I think it feels readable. I think the thing that's sort of held me back on this one is that the minors feel like they're sort of hard to distinguish from each other. And I feel like a lot of them feel a little hard to distinguish from each other. And maybe it's just because I haven't read with it, and so I haven't gotten used to it. But like a lot of the minors just feel kind of I mean, I don't even know. Like, I guess it's that the elemental associations are not as strong as I'd expect them. Like right here, these two examples, the Three of Wands is this very teal green,
almost
what I would
watery.
expect. Yeah, like what I'd expect from cups, and then
here,
cups are bright and fiery.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. And same thing with the swords. They're like,
I think this deck was I thought I saw originally 1988, so it's an older deck.
It could be also that.
I'm sorry, I have a.
See, at least for me, I know that when I lay out cards on the table, especially in a bigger spread, I like to be able to see right away the elemental differences. That's important to me for how I read. Is that something that matters to you? Like, if you have like 5 or 6 cards on the table, if you can't immediately spot the elements, is that going to affect the way that you read with the deck?
I think probably, like, at least if I can't totally group them together, like, even if it was like a consistent thing where all of the wands had the same color, it wouldn't be that bothersome. But it's the fact that
it's kind of all over the place.
It's very all over the place. So it's something I would definitely have to devote a lot of time to. I guess.
This deck is going to come with its very own learning curve.
Yeah, and especially with this super sci-fi thing, that I'd be reading a lot about it.
So it might be more readable to you than Mystic Masters is, but it's still not necessarily going to be as easy as you'd like it to be.
Yeah, and I'm lazy.
I hear you, though. I can always tell how much I like a deck by how willing I am. This is my thing. If I can tell, okay, I'm excited enough about this that I want to put the work into learning it, versus this is cool, I'm probably not excited enough to want to spend the time getting to know it. To me, that's usually how I can tell if it's one that I really want to get or don't want to get. I don't know if you feel as strongly, but that's something that I feel sometimes.
That's a good point. And I guess that is something where it's, I just don't know if I would. At least not right now. I got other things going on, you know. I've got things I'm making, I have things I'm doing. Like that would be.
It sounds like, as much as it has a really attractive price, that it might not necessarily be the right now deck, because it's just going to take a time commitment that it sounds like you don't really, even if you wanted to, don't necessarily have the time.
Yeah, maybe that's like a winter deck. Like when I'm in grad school, so like having a nice break. Cozy up and read it
later. Yeah. I think that might be one you want to take off now.
What do you think? Can we table this?
Yeah,
for
I think we can move that to
that later pile.
Later pile. We'll do that. I'm not saying no, just saying later.
Not right now.
Softens the blow.
What is the next deck?
All right. So the next one is called the Tarot of Famous Witches, and it is so pretty. It's really my style, and I just love the artwork so much. Pamela Coleman Smith is the sun, and of course that's sort of what caught my attention about it, and just made me obsessed with that. And so I haven't seen this deck anywhere. I had to really hunt on YouTube to even find a full walkthrough of it.
Yeah, I've not seen this. I haven't seen this at all. And it's a limited color palette. How do you feel about that?
That doesn't bother me. I have black and white decks that I love, and so that doesn't annoy me at all. This also probably wouldn't appeal to some people, but it's a majors only deck right now, which that doesn't necessarily bother me either, because I have a few, or I guess I have 2 majors only decks, and I like them anyway.
So you're used to working with those already.
Yeah.
Can I ask how you do like to work with your majors only decks? Do you?
Yeah. I mean, I like doing them for daily pulls, which seems weird because I know a lot of people think of the majors as like major life-changing events, but I like them for daily pulls because you don't go through them as fast, I guess. Like you're not going to have a lot of the same cards show up in spreads a whole bunch. Yeah, and I also like it just as sort of inspiration for other things that I'm working on, like poetry or writing or that sort of thing. And that's really nice because it correlates with the Fool's Journey. So for people who are really familiar with that, then it's sort of a nice inspiration point, I guess, for that.
I will say this is really, really pretty, and I'm not normally drawn at all to limited color palette decks like this, but I mean it's purple-ish. I kind of like purple-ish.
Yeah.
I don't have any majors only decks. I see what you mean about Pamela Coleman Smith as the sun, but I also just got really distracted by this almost like Wicked Witch of the West vibe in the Chariot card.
I'm pretty that's Alphaba. I think they use Alphaba for that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's from Wicked.
Yeah, I knew this. Why didn't you know that?
I don't. So wait, are these all?
I knew a thing.
So I guess these are all actually famous witches, right? That would make sense.
Yeah, they're fictional or real witches. Like I think they have Joan of Arc there for somebody. I missed that. They have
Joan of Arc is there.
Oh, why can't I remember his name? Gardner of the Wiccan tradition.
Gerald Gardner.
Gerald Gardner. Yeah, which is really cool. And they have I know they have like characters from The Craft in there, and it's really cool. It's a mix of fictional and real witches, and
okay, that's really cool. I dig it.
And I guess really the thing, I just need Peggy to kick me in the butt on this one because it is expensive, and that's my problem.
Okay, what I would say is you'd be better off right now, right this minute, from a pricing perspective, to get the Tarot with the Cat people and then only keep the majors. You've got a majors only deck that if that's what you're interested in, if you're interested in a majors only deck, you've just solved your problem for half the money, and you have a full deck if you carry them together.
Yeah.
That's a good point. You actually get better versatility from the Tarot of the Cat.
We already crossed that one off the list.
I know,
You're screwing us up.
We got one more. We got one left.
But then this is how this goes sometimes, because a majors only deck at that price point, I would have a bit of a problem with the price point, honestly. But I mean, then that's a personal decision on your part.
Yeah.
But
I guess the question is, how do you feel about the idea of crossing it off your list? Do you start feeling like, oh, I don't want to let it go, or do you feel like, I'm kind of okay with it for now? Or
well, I think the question is, how do you feel about going outside the box and considering?
Those are two. That's a totally different question, though.
I said, and consider. No, I mean, it sounds you like Tarot of the Cat People, but the minors were a problem for you. You get rid of the minors, and you've got a $21 majors only deck, half the price. And you still scratch your cat people itch.
I guess like maybe the biggest indicator actually is that I'm thinking like, would I be really upset if I missed my chance and it went out of print forever and they were never going to do another one and it's like, that's it. And I think that, I guess I feel like at that price, I probably wouldn't be that upset about it. I'd be like, well, maybe that's a lucky thing for me because it just saved me some money. So that's probably a good point.
Yeah, it's like, well, let's just see if the universe decides.
It sounds like you can probably relatively comfortably take this one off your list, at least for now.
Yeah.
And then if you find yourself missing it being on your list later, you can always revisit it.
Well, and if by the time we're done, you're going, I could throw away the minors from Tarot of the Cat People.
Why do you keep trying to resurrect the Tarot of the Cat People? Let it go, man.
Okay. Am I wrong in saying that you really, really resonated with the majors from the Tarot of the Cat People, and it was the minors that were tripping you up?
Yeah, I did resonate with the minors, and I guess that would be like. It would be appropriate for the sort of thing that I use a majors only deck for anyway, where in the sense that it's like a sort of fantasy inspiration type thing that seems to be appropriate for using it as art inspiration.
It's way out in left field, which I'm totally aware of, but it's like, because I mean, I wasn't like when your next choice is a majors only deck, it's like, oh, that might change the conversation for you.
That's a good point. Yeah, if you're looking at like this one, I don't really like the minors. This one's too expensive, not really in my budget. It doesn't feel worth it at this, at this level.
I think this one though is probably something that you're going to be glad you passed it by eventually.
Yeah.
When I have like 3 other decks for the same.
Yeah, you know what? You could probably, I mean, I could be
you've got
wrong,
other majors only decks anyway.
But you might be able to literally just order a print from Rachel Ford, this creator, of just Pamela Coleman Smith as the sun. Maybe that's something you could think of.
Maybe. I think she does. Well, she has prints of some sort. I think, you know what? You're giving me my own advice because I think at one point, like I said in the comments on one of your videos, like,
was that you?
Yeah.
Because I ordered that advice earlier, and I'm like, I heard this somewhere, but I can't remember where I heard it from.
Yeah, I left a comment on your video that said, just order a print instead of the whole deck.
Yeah, okay, so because I literally quoted you.
Yeah,
oh, great.
Yep, we were talking to somebody else to do this, and I was like, yeah, like this is. I heard this somewhere. And it's such a great idea. No, that's irony, though.
If you're thinking of a $44 majors only deck because of 1 or 2 specific cards that you're just absolutely in love with,
that's a print thing.
Okay, so what's your next one?
All right, so the last one I have is called the Dreaming Way Tarot. It is really pretty, and I guess I didn't say this part live, but I do some tarot zines in which I feature images from other decks, and where I first came across this deck was when I was looking for images for the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups is so incredibly stunning. I love the Magician too. I mean, they're all really cool. It's similarly fantasy-like, I guess, to Tarot of the Cat People, and it has sort of a it's a similar setting, but a totally different vibe.
It's got like that. It's got that feeling of like you're in a totally different world.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels more, I would say, like it's got like a slight hint of storybook, kind of quirky Alice in Wonderland almost.
But now let's go down to some of the minors, because are they?
That's all I have.
No, I thought there was
there's a 3. Yeah.
Because that seems to me easier to read.
It's definitely more traditional.
So I'm going to be honest. Like when you first started talking about this just now, you just like literally lit up a little bit. Did you notice that, or was that just me? Am I making that up? I feel like I'm not making that up. Because it seems to me almost like you're like, oh, now we get to talk about the Dreaming Way Tarot.
Saving the best for last kind of thing. That would be very
I I don't know.
That's a good point. Here, actually, you know what? Okay, would it be weird to ask you to look up the Knight of Cups, actually, the image for this one? Because it is it's so pretty. I guess I'm just like, I don't want to make my decision based on one card in the deck, but sometimes that's all it takes, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, talk us through this Knight of Cups and why it has hit you so hard.
Okay, what I like about it is that for a lot, I have sort of got the idea of the Knight of Cups being a romantic and kind of a hopeless romantic and almost listless in a way, and something about the color palette and the fact that there is no background. It's a very washed, watercolory, like ambiguous, nebulous background. I feel like speaks to that dreamy quality so well, and I love the patterns. That there's all different patterns and in different colors, and so that it's like he's not fully confident in one thing yet. It's not like, okay, I'm gonna wear stripes. You know, he's wearing these stripes and these, you know, big green boots and this weird like hat that it reminds me of like the, you know, the British
like the
guard hats.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just so weird. But in a good way again, and that he and the horse are looking in different directions, and that he's like not really pulling the horse, he's just sort of letting the horse lead him off. I don't know. It's just there's so many
a lot in this one card, and I think it's kind of interesting because there's something about this art style that seems to grab you in a different way.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that gives you this feeling, like in your current collection, like anything that like?
I guess the closest one is the Bohemian Animal Tarot, maybe, which is very different. I love it. This is, you know, one of my absolute favorites, and it is sort of trying to hold this straight, dreamy in a different way, just because of the anthropomorphized animals. And
why don't I have this deck?
Good question. I'm not going to say anything. I'll just.
You don't deserve it.
You know.
Was that a badger in the? Okay.
Oh yeah, this is Strength, or the warrior.
And it's a badger.
And he's in a library. I'm a librarian too. That's my day job. So I really love this card.
Nice.
And it's got the you know, the classic
strength card
in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is sort of, I guess you'd say it's sort of dreamlike, and it's done in pastels, and so they're really bright pastels. But you know,
I already told you, but
it's really pretty.
It's a really nice looking deck.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually, real quick while we're going, I'm gonna try and flip through to the Temperance card because it is the weirdest Temperance card I've ever seen. But you know, this is a mass market deck. You know, I'm not saying anything. I'm just giving you information. That's my job.
I think it deserves a closer look. Personally.
Okay, here it is. Here's the Temperance card. This is Temperance.
Oh my god, I love her.
It's a mink. And at first I did not know. I didn't know what this was. I didn't know what this meant. It's like
I need the stack.
No. No,
wait, no,
you don't need to stop.
All I'm doing is writing it down. Okay.
And this one, what's really cool about this one is that it's the meaning is sort of about how you can indulge in things without being a bad person and without sort of ruining your purity or whatever. And as soon as I read that, I was like, I love this depiction of temperance.
That's amazing. Also, she's adorable.
Yeah.
Her little
really
stockings. Oh my god.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I have a list now. I have 3 decks on my list. I don't care.
Sorry, Peggy.
I don't. Don't be sorry. It's fine. It's fine. That's what I'm here for. I need it.
I don't care.
I guess I don't have that many human decks. That's a weird thing to say, but
no, that makes sense.
That's fine. That's what resonates, right?
Especially if a lot of the human decks don't. They just feel unrelatable for some reason, but then the Dreaming Way does in some way. And I get the feeling from what you were saying that the Knight of Cups specifically is like relatable to you personally?
I don't know. I tend to be kind of serious a lot of the times, or just practical minded, and which is why these things have been on my list forever, because I'm not an impulsive person or doomy person. And so this Knight of Cups is like relatable to a part of me that I don't engage with very often, or like I don't listen to.
Explore?
Yeah, maybe. All right. Well, it sounds like we've made a decision here.
I think so, because it seems like you're getting the best. It's from on the outside looking in, it seems like you're having the most positive
reaction. Yeah, I would agree.
Reaction to that. Now, going over, like, where are the cost points on these decks? Is that one going to be a painfully expensive deck?
I don't think this one is very cheap. It's mass market. It's like the same as Cat People. Yeah, $22.
So. Then you're not so you're not in a position where budget is an issue.
Yeah.
It's available now, so you're not in a situation where having to wait for it's an issue. You're not going to be either getting, because the majors only deck, the price point was an issue, plus you're only getting half a deck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like one too, where you would be excited to put the work in. It sounds like you'd be excited to put the work into getting to know this deck.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got that thing going.
Yeah, you're like, I can see myself working with this one.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if maybe the reason that I wasn't sure about it is just because of sort of for the opposite reason of, I feel like, well, I don't have anything like it, therefore I don't know if I would like it. It's almost the opposite thing, where you want unique things, but not things that you don't like,
Yeah, like,
do you feel you would learn from it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just based on what I've been talking about it, I mean, I think I would be learning from it. It'd be a step out of my box a little bit, but in a baby step out of my box,
It sounds like it stand out. Like
it sounds like it's gonna have. It sounds like it's a deck that's going to resonate with you once you start working with it.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones sound like they're going to be a little bit more of what you've already got, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I mean, honestly, if it's like, nope, I'm only looking for a little bit more of what I've already got, then that's fine. But you look and sound a little bit more excited about that deck. Like maybe you're, like you said, baby steps, ready to start moving outside of certain boxes and exploring from a different direction. So it sounds like we just hit that.
Yeah.
The best for last.
Yeah, I think so. It sounds like too, like if it was on your shelf, it would stand out to you because it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true. I think most of my other ones, they're either very traditional or very like dark and goth. I mean, this is really like, that's why I say that this is the Bohemian Animals, the closest one. Oh yeah. Sorry.
This is not for you to shop. We are here to help Wesley. Wesley is not here to help you shop. No.
This is the magician is a fox, and the high priestess is a rabbit too in the deck. So I think that's why it's these two.
It's so pretty.
You can't have it.
Why don't I have it? I've looked at it before. I don't know how to have it.
I don't know.
We're gonna fix that.
Okay. Yeah, it seemed like you were taking a not different meaning, but a deeper meaning.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I know we're basing a lot on one card.
But the fact that you even had that experience with that one card.
But the art styles, but from what we saw, unless you disagree, it looks like the art style kind of remains the same throughout the deck. So you're probably gonna find different meaning in all the cards.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm thinking of the details you noticed, right? Like you noticed the pattern on the boots and the pattern on the clothes and the type of hat. Those kinds of details stood out to you because of the art style, and it's like that throughout that deck. Yeah. So I feel like you're going to be drawn to all those kinds of little things and enjoy looking for those things.
It's your growth deck.
My growth deck. Oh my gosh. Well,
yeah.
Growth is scary, but that's the point of tarot, you know? It's growth.
You don't get drawn to stuff like that unless you're ready for stuff like that.
I agree.
Because you don't notice it. If you're not ready for it, you don't notice it.
Yep, I agree.
Wisdom. Can I quote you for my zine?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
exciting then.
You're saying yes to dreaming my tarot?
Yes, I'm saying yes to dreaming my tarot.
Woo! Yay! And I didn't spend any of my own money yet, or yours yet.
Yeah. I love the yet. Yeah, it does seem like that deck is the one that's gonna and like I said, you don't have a lot of other considerations. It sounds like you already do that up front.
Yeah.
Which is you're already coming out from a healthy place. So yeah, that's your deck.
Fine.
All right. Cool.
Are you gonna show it on your channel when you get it in?
Well, I guess I'll have to now. I'll do it as a VR or something.
I mean, I've subscribed and I've got a notification bell on. Like,
no pressure.
No,
what are you doing?
No pressure. Sorry.
I'm starstruck.
No pressure. Oh my goodness. I am so excited. So we mentioned your YouTube channel. We'll have a link to that down below. But is there any other social media you want to share that we could share?
I mean, I got a Twitter also that is basic. It's, same stuff. It's also at 22 Zines, and that's it because I can't handle too many things.
A lot. I pretty much spend all my time on YouTube, and that's about it.
Yeah, I've got a couple of different things, and I just ignore all of it.
It's a lot. I look at my own group on Facebook.
I'm so busy sewing. I don't have enough time to keep track of all this social media junk. It's like, no.
And then I tell her she's sitting on the couch for like 6 hours.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, but that's why I have time for that because I'm not doing.
That's true.
Yeah, we'll link all that below.
Yeah, we'll have a link to your Twitter. We'll have a link to your YouTube channel. Well, thank you so much.
That was
Wesley.
awesome. Can't wait to hear about how you get along with that deck.
Me too.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I'll be around.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Well, that's a good thing to know. Do you consider yourself somebody who doesn't mind having some decks just to have?
I mean,
I'm sorry. Our dog just did something incredibly hilarious.
Sorry, Shayla just flipped her food mat at Peggy. Like, I would like more.
We have to feed the dog on these because she doesn't like the clinking of her tags against bowls.
And she just threw it at Peggy.
She
like,
threw it at me.
Picked it up with her mouth and threw it.
You have to wait. Not yet. I'm working.
That's not gonna work, babe.
She knows I'm not working because the sewing machine's over there.
She's gonna pick it up and throw it at you again.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, Wesley. I will be right back.
We knew it was gonna happen at some point today. You're just the lucky recipient of all of it.
At once. Okay,
no,
dude. Didn't you hear what I said about being a forever beginner?
But you said beginner.
Remember, I can't even say beginner. I don't have an ego problem. I am an ego problem.
Thank you so much for
playing. Thank you guys.
It's like, it's a game show.
Come on, it felt like to me. I had to help.
It's a game show and you have to buy your own prize.
Actually, that's kind of terrible.
Play the Price is Right theme.
It's kind of.
We should I love that show. Apparently the price is right for us. So
yeah, free.
That depends. I've already got 3 decks on my wish list from the.
That you're not getting. Don't worry, it'll be fine.
Anyways.
So.
I don't mind big decks. It's fine. Yeah.
There's a dirty joke in there.
There is definitely a dirty joke. We're not gonna say it though. Nope, we're not gonna do it. Nope.
If I do, she'll just edit it out.
I will. That's true. That's exactly. This is the beauty of being the one in charge of the editing.
That's why I prefer going live.
And this is why we're not going live, dear.
Dude, I'm doing a 6-hour marathon.
I'm sorry to everybody who attends the 6-hour marathon.
You do collect them.
A little bit.
You do have some. Do you? And
a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm trying to be nice here.
Wait.